Hello fans, here we go for another update. Let's start by supporting this video. Your like will be a great support, thank you. The Detroit Lions have a clear mission for the next offseason: rebuild their defense. After a season marked by ups and downs in the defensive sector, it is clear that adjustments need to be made. The defensive line and secondary are pointed out as critical areas for reinforcements. But what would be the ideal approach? Between speculation and analysis, the name of cornerback Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame has emerged as a potential target in the 2025 draft. However, the choice may not be as right as it seems at first glance. Pro Football Focus Mason Cameron recently suggested that Morrison would be a perfect fit for Detroit. In an article about ideal scenarios for teams in free agency and the draft, he highlighted the player's qualities. While Morrison has the tools to be selected in the first half of round 1, he missed the second half of the 2024 season after suffering a hip injury that required surgery, which could cause him to fall on draft day. Given his profile as a solid man-coverage cornerback at Notre Dame, he would provide the Lions with a natural fit to replace Carlton Davis III, who is on his way out of Detroit's Cover 1 heavy scheme. Indeed, Morrison is a promising talent. With 9 interceptions in his college career, he has demonstrated exceptional man-coverage skills. However, there is one concerning detail. He has played in just 6 games in 2024 due to the hip injury. This raises questions about his durability and readiness to make an immediate impact in the NFL. If Detroit chooses to select him, it would be taking another defender coming off an injury, a significant risk, especially given the team's recent draft history. Why the Lions shouldn't prioritize cornerback early in the 2025 draft. In retrospect, it makes little sense for the Detroit Lions to spend a high pick on another cornerback. In the 2024 draft, the team already invested heavily in the position by selecting Terrion Arnold in the first round and Ennis Rakestraw in the second. General Manager Brad Holmes made it clear that strengthening the secondary was a priority. However, the results were mixed. Arnold has had an up-and-down season, showing promise, but also inconsistent performance. Despite being a regular contributor to the defensive rotation, he has yet to reach the level expected of a first-round cornerback. On the other hand, Rakestraw's rookie year was hampered by injuries, limiting his opportunities to make an impact. With 2 young cornerbacks still developing, it would make sense to give them time to develop. The cornerback position is known for its adaptability when transitioning to the NFL, and patience could pay off in the long run. Detroit has a chance to see Arnold make a leap in production in year 2, while Rakestraw could finally prove himself if he can stay healthy. Therefore, adding another first-round cornerback, especially one who is recovering from an injury, would be a risky and redundant move. The smarter approach would be to focus on continuity and growth of the young talent already on the roster. Keeping Carlton Davis III is the right move for the Lions. Given this scenario, the most sensible decision would be to do whatever it takes to keep Carlton Davis III on the roster. Davis's experience and leadership are key to a secondary that is still looking for stability. If re-signing him is not possible, the ideal alternative would be to pursue a quality veteran in free agency, someone who can make an immediate impact without the learning curve that a rookie would face. This strategy would make much more sense for a team that is clearly in a championship window. The Detroit Lions have shown potential to compete at the top of the NFC, but they need defensive consistency to take the next step. Spending a high pick on an injured cornerback would be an unnecessary step backward. With Arnold and Rakestraw poised to improve, retaining Davis or adding a seasoned veteran would be the perfect balance between youth development and veteran stability. That way, Detroit can continue its rise in the NFC without taking unnecessary risks in the 2025 draft. Kelvin Sheppard, the Detroit Lions' new defensive coordinator, has made it clear that his focus is on the trenches. After being promoted from linebackers coach to replace Aaron Glenn, Sheppard shared his vision for how he will shape the Lions' defense. He said it all starts with the front line, emphasizing the importance of toughness in the trenches, both on the ground and through the air. For Sheppard, it's not just about getting the glam out of pressuring the quarterback, but about earning the right to rush the passer by dominating the run. Just as new offensive coordinator John Morton has emphasized that the offense starts with Jared Goff, Sheppard believes that defensive success is deeply rooted in the front line. He pointed to the Super Bowl finalist Eagles as an example of what it takes to have a dominant defensive line. Everything you do on defense starts up front, Shepard said. Just look at the teams that have made it to the championship game. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. It starts in the trenches, both in the run game and the pass game. Shepard stressed that despite the current emphasis on passing in the NFL, long-term success depends on a solid foundation in defending against the run game. He stressed that it's not enough to have skilled pass rushers if they don't earn the downhill situations where they can shine. You have to earn the right to rush the passer, he explained. It doesn't matter if you're a glorified pass rusher if you can't get to those downhills. So it's critical to find a balance of guys who can defend both the run and the pass. Shepard's vision is to mold a defense that matches the Lions' identity, setting a standard for physical and mental toughness. He's determined to build a defensive line that dominates the trenches, just as the Eagles did last season. The goal is clear: to ensure the Lions are a force to be reckoned with in the front court battles, paving the way for success in 2025. Should they have the chance to face the Eagles in the playoffs, Shepard wants his players to be prepared to fight fire with fire. The recent signing of former NFL quarterback Bruce Gradkowski by the Detroit Lions could trigger a number of strategic changes for the team, including the possibility of a new backup quarterback and potentially the addition of another head coach in the future. While it is unclear what Gradkowski's specific role will be with the team, there is speculation that he could take on the role of assistant quarterbacks coach, given his experience and track record at the position. Gradkowski, despite being in his first NFL coaching experience, is no stranger to the role. For the past 2 years, he served as the offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Battlehawks in both the UFL and XFL, where he worked directly with former Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron. That partnership has been particularly fruitful, as McCarron has shined under his guidance, cementing himself as one of the best quarterbacks in spring football over the past 2 years. While the level of competition in those leagues does not compare to the NFL, McCarron's performance has been remarkable and has caught the attention of many observers. Given this connection and the positive history between the two, it makes sense that the Lions could consider bringing in McCarron as a backup quarterback. McCarron's uniqueness lies not only in his on-field skills, but also in his strategic vision of the game. Over 9 years in the NFL, primarily with the Cincinnati Bengals, he has demonstrated that he is a smart and tactical player, traits that make him a strong candidate for a future career in coaching. In fact, McCarron has expressed interest in pursuing the path after his playing career ends, though he is still looking for opportunities to play, especially after being released by the Battlehawks in November. The ideal scenario for the Lions would be to leverage McCarron's transition into a player-slash-coach role, similar to what happened with David Blau, who spent his final season on the practice squad assisting Hendon Hooker before moving to the Commanders' coaching staff. McCarron could fill a similar role, helping develop young quarterbacks while still contributing as a player on the field. This approach would not only strengthen the current roster, but also pave the way for future additions to the coaching staff. In addition, this strategy would allow the Lions to have a sort of third quarterbacks coach on the roster, which would be extremely valuable. After all, with the growing demand for offensive minds in the NFL, it is only a matter of time before Mark Brunell, the Lions' current quarterbacks coach, receives offers from other franchises. In this scenario, having McCarron already integrated into the system and familiar with the team would be a strategic asset. The hiring of Bruce Gradkowski could therefore be much more than a simple addition to the coaching staff. It could trigger a series of strategic moves that would not only strengthen the current roster, but also pave the way for the future of the franchise. If the Lions play their cards right, this decision could bring benefits both on the field and in building an even stronger coaching staff. Now, I want to know your opinion. Leave your comment below. Let's interact in this video. I will respond to your comment and like it. Don't forget to help us with your like. This will strengthen the channel and will motivate us to always be here. Stay tuned for the next news. See you soon.